Alright, so we're back at the shop, and I picked up a white Maxima and a green, whatever that thing is, some kind of Pontiac. I had a renter that didn't have all the rent money. They had a couple old beaters sitting around, and I figured, you know, they really don't have the money to pay rent. They're a little short. So I decided I'd just risk, see if they got cats on them, catalytic converters, and just take the cars. I think I can scrap the cars for about what rent is, pretty close to it, maybe give or take. But I figured it's got decent tires on it. I might be able to do some trading around with the tires. I don't think they're anything we need. And I will be able to scrap the wheels. There's a battery on them, so the battery's a couple of bucks. Scrap each wheel. I should make my money, so if there's any cats on them, you know, that's that much more. But if they're not, I'm not out anything. So that's what I'm working on today. I just hauled the second one. I've got to move some stuff around at the shop, put some wheels on some cars, load that Acura TL up. I think I'm just gonna scrap that thing. If I don't, I don't, you know, whatever. If I do, get a couple $100 maybe. Just, you always got to be proactive. When you work for yourself, you always got to be moving forward, because, you know, nobody's gonna come to the mailbox and hand you money every month if you ain't worked that out. So, you know, with the renters, we're, you know, had some short. I don't have anything going on right now. I do have a rental to finish. It's kind of in between material, and I got to gather up some more parts and different material and stuff. And so I got a few things there I got to gather up, but while I was in between, I went ahead and decided to, you know, move some stuff around and pick those cars up to help them with their rent. So I'll deal with this, go back into the shop, work around a little bit, get a game plan there on some things, maybe order some parts, and then we'll go back to the rentals and see what we can come up with there. So, all right, here we go. All right, so yesterday I took a deposit on the house up here we've been working on, the one that we'll call it the dog pound. It's not done, but I kind of whispered the information on the book of faces there, and that it, you know, kind of dropped the hint, you know, what I would be asking, that it's going to be for rent soon, and I think it was more than fair price. And about 150, 200 people started messaging me out of the blue. Well, one of the first people that messaged me was a lady. All right, so it's February the 17th, I think, right now. All right, so this lady's been living in her car. I think she started living in her car in November, and then in December she'd stayed in some motels or something and paid a bunch of money, and like up until December or something like that, I don't know the situation, but she'd been living in her car since December or so a couple months she's been living in her car. Well, I had one lady offer to go ahead and pay 3 months in advance plus my deposits and all this, and I had a internal dilemma. Do I go for that money? Because if this girl pays, I'm going to get the same money. It's inevitably going to be the same amount of money. So I decided to go ahead and just rent to the girl that's been homeless living in her car. And I told her to just go ahead and start staying in the house as is if she wanted to get out of her car and stay in that one bedroom that we're not going to do anything in. And she could just stay in there for free the rest of this month. I know I'm a softie. But I told her to go ahead and stay the rest of this month, so she's going to get 12 days, however many days, what's February, so 28. So what is it, however many days are left in this month, so 10, 11 days. So she's going to have that for free. We're going to go ahead and finish this rental up. We'll start back this week. I've took off to work on some other things. And So yeah, that goes to show you the kind of person I am. I'm gonna let her stay in there for free for the rest of this month. And she's worked, I mean, she's had a job for 3 years now. I got bits and pieces of her, the reason that she didn't have a place. It was something to do with, she had lived with family for a little while, and it just wasn't working out. You know how hard it is to live with any kind of family if you've ever, you know, had to stay somewhere that wasn't your own place, or, you know, whatever, especially as an adult. Once you become an adult, it's hard to live in another person's home, whether even if it's friends or family, it's still, roommates are rough. So I get that. So it's some of that information she gave me. So I decided just go ahead and let her stay. Yeah, so I rented to her. She signed the lease yesterday, and she was excited. So yesterday they only let her get the deposit out, and I got to go back and get the first month's rent now. That's where I'm headed. And so I guess we're going to jump back on this house. It's like Friday or something now. So first of the week, I think Monday, I've got something going on. Monday or Tuesday, I got something going on. And then as quick as I get some of the, we've got to get some stuff to mix the sheetrock and some other tools that I have to hunt and try to find. And then we'll come back and we'll finish that. We may have to do some more roof repairs on this thing. We've had some bad storms, and so I think we may have another little leak in there that we, you know, in a different room or somewhere else. So we gotta try to find that, and then move on to something else. But the rental business, I kind of got put in this position. You know, I don't want anybody to not have a home, you know. I know there's no holidays coming up or anything major or any of that, but she's a super nice lady. I don't know, I hate anybody to have to live in their car. So I guess she's got a son that's staying with somebody else right now until that happens, until she gets a place, gets it situated. I think she's got visitation every other weekend. I don't know the situation. She's supposedly not into drugs or none of that. I know where she come from. She actually lived, I guess, growing up kind of not far from where I was at. And when I say people grew up not having a lot, I know them people, and you know, I don't know if we were any worse than them, but they were at least as bad growing up, you know, about having anything. So I can appreciate that. She works at, like, I guess a Honda plant or something. There's a local Honda distribution plant, like a big place. She makes okay. She don't make big money, but she makes okay, I guess. For this day and age, it's not a lot, but it's, I mean, she can rent this place, and her car's about to be paid off. Something, I guess, else she said, a loan or something maybe, but we'll find out. And let's hope it doesn't bite me in the butt. But this personality is what ends up me with, you know, renters that walk on me sometimes, and let's hope she doesn't do that. We'll see. But that's where I'm headed, to collect the second half, of the deposit. She paid half of it yesterday, and she couldn't get it all out of the bank. So I'm going to meet her now. I guess her co-workers are pretty happy for her. She's been living in her car, and her co-workers have tried to offer to let her stay with them and all this other stuff. And she's just, you know, I don't want to say too proud, but maybe. But for whatever the circumstances, she didn't want to stay in a motel. I guess it was just so much money. And she was trying to save up for a place, and she had all the money. I mean, she went to the ATM and got whatever, and I'm meeting her today to get the rest, and it's, you know, so far so good. As long as none of the money is bad and she didn't make it herself. But that's where we're headed. That's what's going on today. And yeah, I guess the decent guy in me decided we would rent to the homeless lady and give her a shot to get herself back on her feet. And my clutch is bad with BMW. Yeah, it's bad. So that's what we're working on. All right, here we go. All right, so I'm here with my new renter, and she agreed she wants to be on camera, and so that way I'm not just making up a story of renting to her or whatever. But here she is.
Hello.
Hello. All right, so tell them the situation, where you come from and what you're doing, and me renting to you and all that.
So this was my home prior to yesterday for the last 2 months. And this kind gentleman finally he rented me his house. So now I have a bed. I have somewhere to sleep.
Yay.
Yay.
So you're saying people at work didn't even know? There was people that you talked to didn't even know you didn't have a place?
I kind of kept it to myself.
Yeah.
I just, you know, didn't want people to know. Some people knew, some people didn't. So yeah. I've just been all giddy and happy.
Well, you're not going to end up homeless again. As long as you pay rent and don't trash my place, you can stay there all you want.
No problem.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good deal.
Yeah. That's fair enough, right?
Yes, sir.
Good. You liking it though? I mean, you're okay?
It's warm.
Yeah.
And it's got a bed.
Well.
And it's got electricity and water.
Yeah.
Something I don't have access to here.
Well, that's a nice car. I mean.
It's an 08 Chevy Cobalt.
Yeah.
And it's going to pay it off next week.
Yeah. So. Well, and you paid another month ahead.
And I paid another month ahead, so I'm caught up for now. And we'll continue to be caught up.
So she's even paid April's rent, just to make sure she's got extra slack to...
In case something happens.
Yeah, anything can happen. So...
We're not looking for anything to happen, though.
That's right.
It's all positivity.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad I could rent to you. So, that's my renter, and... Yeah, I told her as long as I've got a place there, and if she does well and I get a nicer rental open and it's affordable to her, we can move her into a nicer home. This is not the greatest one, but she agreed that it's not her car. So there we are. But yeah, see, that I wasn't just making it up that I was renting to her, and I had to pick doing the right thing over money. And then she paid another month, so the money was still there. So yay.
And I still got money left over.
So you're happy that you got a house?
I am very happy.
Okay.
Ecstatic. Good.
Yay.
I would enjoy some more, you know, laughing, but it's cold.
All right. Well, we won't keep her, and the temperatures are getting crazy out here. I'm setting my car in my heater, and she's standing out in the cold. She's been cold enough, I guess. Yeah. All right, here we go. All right, so she's gone now. Yeah, man, I feel better that I've helped somebody, because like I said, I had a lady offer me like a couple months advance rent and all that, and yeah, this girl had mentioned she was living in her car. And I went through a bunch of and I considered some of the other renters too. And the more I thought about this one, I was like, man, I don't know. She was about 2 minutes away from her work. So she was like going to work and then going to like that truck stop, like 2 minutes away from her work, and was like, I was asking her, I was like, did you leave your car running? Was you letting the heater run? And she's like, no, I've got a sleeping bag and a bunch of blankets. And, you know, she's like, I couldn't let the car run all the time, and, you know, whatever. And so evidently she'd like get in a sleeping bag. I mean, it's been single-digit temperatures, like since sometime in December, like December or whatever. So, I mean, she slept in that car, and it like 9 degrees outside or something, I think, this past December. So like that's crazy to me. And you know, I hate to see somebody in that situation, and I feel good that I was able to help somebody. And I've been renting for 12 years or 13 years now. I've had rentals, and I don't see 100% just yet anything that I think would create an issue with her renting from me. I don't see anything that's going to be like, you know, going to make me want to have to evict her, or an issue that would cause her to not be able to afford her bills. Not yet. Who's to say that, you know, they're 3 or 4 months into it, you know, whatever. But right now, I mean, she's paid, it's February. I gave her the rest of February, and she's already paid March and April plus a deposit. So she gave me a deposit and paid for March and April's rent already. So, I mean, and she's had the same job for 3 years. I really don't, but she says she don't drink. She's never really been drunk. I don't think she's smoked any drugs. She don't do any drugs, she says. I don't know. Maybe just life put her in that position and that's where she ended up being. I don't really know. You know, but I talked to a lady she worked with, and I mean, she vouched for her and stuff, and I don't know. I mean, she just made her last payment on that car. I think she's paying like $100 a week on the car. Maybe just bad life decisions put her there. I don't know. But we'll figure it out. I'd say eventually we'll figure out what put her there, and hopefully I don't have to put her back there. Hopefully she'll do the right thing and pay, and if she's had a job for 3 years, there shouldn't be an issue with paying. So I don't know. We'll see where it goes. But all right, here we go.